and Instagram. So shout out to Ithaca because she really got this going through inspiration.
Sorry, and just to jump in, Corazon is also on that back table.
Yes. Okay. Yay. And she has a second book as well, Tesoro. But anyways, so we were sharing, I shared one of her poems on Facebook, and Crystal commented on it like, hey, let's start a zine. And we did it. And so, it just went weekend through weekend. We met, developed a mission statement, developed a title for it. And yeah, we got the ball rolling. It was spontaneous, but I think it's so far the best spontaneous thing we've ever done.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Do you want to add anything else, Crystal?
I honestly didn't think it was going to happen a lot of the time. And then we just kept committing and recommitting and recommitting. And then Gabby moved away and I thought she was done forever. And then she was like, wait, no, this is my child too. So we have shared custody. No, I'm just kidding.
The internet is a great thing. I had to move back home to El Paso, Texas. And, through Facebook, through, Zoom, we've been able to continue in this project. And I did want to add a little thing. I know Crystal mentioned that there were a limited amount of zines available. So in case you don't get a copy of the zine, or in case, anybody else is interested, any of your friends, and they can't get a hold of a printed copy, we do have a website where we do have a PDF version of the zine. And it's free. And so, anybody can access it. And it's, I believe it's bienacompañadapress.wixsite.com.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, Gabby, would you mind reading the piece that you submitted, or another piece, but whatever you want to read?
Oh, I can read the one that's submitted.
Okay. Cool.
And so in your zine, it will be the very last piece. If you'd like to follow along, feel free to do so. If you'd like to just hear, feel free to do so. And so this piece is titled "Asleep." It was inspired in a previous relationship and kind of the emotional negligence that kind of through there. I do want to mention a trigger warning. There is a mention of ice, and there is a description of a panic attack. Maybe it was the news that ice was in town. Maybe it was that I'd had coffee for dinner. Maybe it was just my brain malfunctioning at its best. The darkness of our room silently wraps you into heavy snores. The darkness of our room has other plans for me. The darkness of our room wraps around my jaw. Inhale, exhale, shuts it so tightly I can't speak in my nightmares. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And now, eyes wide open, thoughts loose and unorganized, breathing tight and restricted. I get up, navigating the labyrinth of your legs, the covers and the creaky spots. You don't wake up. I'm drowning on dry land. You don't wake up. But I told you about this before. Warned you when our love was new. That anxiety stuff ain't real. It's all about how you choose to feel. But you and the sun both could have held me trembling, crumbling under your rays of oblivious positivity. And still, you won't wake up. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you could hear our snaps.
I could, yes.
Okay, great. So I didn't come up here before grabbing the list, but if it's okay, I would really like to have Desiree come up and talk about her paintings a little bit. If that's, feel free. She's not feeling well, but I definitely think her pieces were. I don't know about you, Gabby, but they were absolutely my favorite submission. And I still talk about it, and I still fawn over them every time I open up the zine. I'm like, oh my god, these paintings are amazing. I really love them. Yeah, so take it away.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. So my name is Desiree Rivera. My presentation is visual. I brought 5 of my paintings. As a matter of fact, the one in the middle is something I just finished painting last night. And it's kind of a dramatic scene of Taino fishermen in a longboat trying to get back home, headed by a cacique, who's a chief of that particular group. And let's see. Basically, my paintings they're cultural. They're culturally specific to my Puerto Rican heritage. The diaspora is larger. No, actually, the diaspora is just about the same amount as the population of Puerto Rico. So there's like 3.5 million to 4 million of us spread out around the United States, and about 3.5 or 4 million on the island, although I don't know because people have been leaving after the disaster of the hurricane. It might be less. And I wasn't born there, but my parents are from there. My mother's from Vieques, small island off the East Coast. Used to be occupied by the U.S. military and is now occupied mostly by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Not an improvement. But so my paintings are informed by visiting Vieques often, especially in the 90s when my oldest was young and we used to go every summer, and also from my mother's stories, my grandmother's stories. And also, Crystal and Gabriela were talking about the Facebook community, which has been a lifesaver for the Puerto Rican diaspora because there are a lot of groups that are doing that are working on language revitalization of the Taino language, and they're also sort of reconnecting with the culture, with our indigenous culture, but also other parts of our cultures. And so you'll see that theme in a lot of my paintings. The painting at the end really has to do with my childhood in the South Bronx. And when I grew up in the South Bronx, it was the 70s. It was when the Bronx was burning. I don't know if you know about that. Landlords burning their properties for insurance money. It was really the way that they describe. A lot of abandoned areas, you know, where there used to be buildings. My grandmothers, both of them, were from that area, and we were there when we were really small. And so it's really just like nature taking over. And that there's an abandoned building in the background. But also the graffiti on the walls are the names of female and male caciques, chiefs from the 16th century. And I wanted to kind of keep them alive in a way and call them into being by putting them in, you know, incorporating them into the painting. The next one is called mucaros. Mucaros means owl in Spanish. And a lot of the artisans, indigenous artisans, would carve owl figures, and they represented the dead. And there's I'm sorry, I'm like not feeling well. There's our divine spirit, also called Semi. Our divine spirits are called Semis. We have one called Magua Taurie Guayaba, and that is the divine spirit that watches over the dead. And often he's depicted as an owl as well. I took a ceiba tree, a 300-year-old ceiba tree that is actually on Vieques right now and really looking pretty beautiful. We thought it was gone after the hurricane, but it came back. And I sort of did my own representation of it, but with the bones on the outside. Just to show that, you know, we're strong people and that, you know, we're resilient. And hurricanes, you know, predatory loans, it doesn't matter. Colonization, we're still here and we're still strong. And I wanted to kind of depict that. This painting right here, the sunset, is called Carmenides, and that's my mother's name. And she always told us about how she wanted to be a dancer, but by the time she was a teenager, she had 3 small children and she couldn't really do much of anything. So it's it's kind of my a tribute to her in a way, about what she could have been and what I would have loved her to have for herself, but she couldn't have. And the last one is just like this kind of feeling of drifting, and it's like you can either look at it, you can look at it two ways. Either the person is kind of drowning and fading into the background, or the person is reemerging. So I kind of, because sometimes I feel like, especially people in the diaspora, they kind of feel like both things at the same time, you know. So anyway, that's it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Desiree. I know you're not feeling well, so you really gave us a lot of yourself just then. And I really love what you said about, it's like a different kind of like Borderlands context, but with the water, which, coming from like a dry place, I know nothing about water. But yeah, the drifting in and drifting up and drifting down. Anyways, okay, so to move forward, I'm gonna call Joe Cruz, just for a second, yep. Up to the mic. He's got some spoken word, some slam poetry bits to give us, so.
I'm gonna find it. It's technically corrido, so you'll appreciate it.
All right.
But in English, I guess it's just a slam poem, or like a eulogy. One second.
It is what it is, corrido.
It is what it is. Where do what is it? Hold on, this isn't the full one. I'm from Austin, by the way. Can you see me? What's up, EP?
Hi.
Hey. Safest city
Texas
in
in the house.
That's right. Where is it? I just have to find it. I'm sorry. That should be a round of applause, right? Thank you, Desiree. Oh, what is this? Is it in there somewhere? If you want, I can. Yeah, it's in a file that you sent me somewhere.
Find your thing. If anyone else wants to sign up, you can pass around the clipboard, or it's on that table. Thank you.
Did you email me Embrace? You did, right?
Is that what?
No, Eli. In the back. You emailed it to me? Here we go. Oh, okay. I found one that I can read now, and then I'll find the other one.
Okay,
I got two.
take a break.
Okay, yeah.
Great.
All right. But before I begin, I will say one thing too. Let's see. Okay, just gotta find this. Okay. Here we go. All right, so hi everyone. I'm sorry that y'all are just like watching me struggle up here. I promise this is gonna be nice. Let me center myself. It's been a long day. We got the sage. We got La Virgen, Reina de Mexico. That's right. Yeah, one of those. Ma roe, y'all, or welcome in the language of my indigenous eagle feather wearing elders. Welcome to the endpoint of the southern door on Cayuga Lake, home of the people of the Great Swamp, and welcome to this Buffalo Street Books, which is cool. My grandpa's name, by the U.S. standards, is Armando, but by the nation of Comanche, which we belong to, is Patsnawahipu, which means son of buffalo. So it's kind of ironic and kind of like poetic justice that I'm in here right now, I think. Oh my God, come in, hurry. What are you doing here? Ithaca. Hey. All right, so I'll start. You just missed I'm in the middle of the ancestral land acknowledgement, so we're fine. I always like to add to this, and so it's kind of a long list, but if I miss someone, no tea, no shade. I'm not trying to add anybody, but please come up and talk to me afterwards so that I can be more inclusive. But as a Native person, I'd like to extend a welcome to those with immigrant blood that might be from Mother Africa, Palestine, Judea, the Chosen and the Gentile, the Mexica Azteca Indians like myself, Vikings, the Celts, the Britons and the Gauls, the plebeian and patrician, the Galatians, mi familia dominicana y boricua del Caribe, y todos con sangre de América Latina, Calaca, Hawaii, Polynesia, Italiano, Buddhist, Hindu, the South Asian nations, the dynasties of China, the Shinto people, Taiwan heritages, the Korean Peninsula, the Caucasus region, or what we call our white-skinned cousins, and beyond. Indian youth where I'm from are starting to move away from using brother and sister, which we say on the nation, on the reservation, to using cousin because it's not gendered, so it's a lot more inclusive and cool. I bring my Tona Autumn, which means desert person, Dene Navajo, which is people of the four ancient corners, and Comanche, or fierce rebel-spirited people. I bring all that love, spirit, greeting, and gratitude to this land and to the first people of the Six Nations on the back of the ancestral turtle island, Isla Tortuga, or America as it was called in 1492. Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Seneca, Tuscarora, and the Haudenosaunee people who are still here and thriving and beautiful and will not be erased, on whose land we occupy right now. One thing that my sachem, which is our word for chief, would always tell me, and I'd like to share with all of you, and I hope no one takes this as oh, this is sad now, it's empowering, I think, but moving forward, I know there's a lot of, I just saw about that guy from Empire that was a part of a hate crime or whatever, and there's just a whole lot of fucked up stuff happening. So I'd like to share this from my sachem, and also what I heard from when I met Sachem Sam George, who is the traditional leader of the Cayuga Nation. But they say, and this is an ancient proverb of some tribe, we don't know which one, but when you are judged for who you are, see this as an opportunity to step into your power, to reclaim your birthright, and to honor your soul's path more deeply. Those who antagonize us are really giving us a chance to truly embody our inner strength. So with that, I'll start my poem. I know I've talked a lot.